Hi, JP Cormier here, coming to you from my truck in beautiful sunny Nova Scotia. And I'm making this video because it's part sort of non-rant and part PSA, and it's all about playing the guitar. The title of the video is "The Truth About Learning to Play the Guitar," and it's strange how popular the instrument is and how beautiful the things that it does are for people. It's therapeutic. Like, music should be considered a pharmaceutical. It's that therapeutic. And millions of people want to learn to play. If it's just for their own enjoyment or they want to get better than they are already, it's a huge thing. Guitar has been an incredible part of our society for 60 years or more. And so here's what I found out in the last few days. I have an online school myself called mastermusicmethod.com. And over the past 3 years, I've developed it I'm very happy with what it is and how it works. And we hit a ceiling where we couldn't seem to get any more people subscribed to the system. And so I've spent the last year trying to figure out what it is that makes people, first of all, take lessons and quit, or decide who to take lessons from, etc., etc. So here's the first part of the truth about this problem. I asked a question a few days ago on my fan page on Facebook. If you don't know who I am, that's cool. There's billions of people who don't. So either Google me or look at some of the other videos on my channel here and get an idea of the kind of music I play and what I do and all that. So I have a fan page. I've been doing this for 40 years. I've never had a day job. I've been playing music all my life. I asked a question on my fan page that said, how many people here have taken guitar lessons and then quit? And what were the reasons? So these were the answers. Simple. One was money. Okay, so money's a problem. If you go to a local shop or a musical institution, you're going to pay $50 an hour to take lessons from somebody that you don't really know, not sure what their background is, whether they're qualified to teach. Now, mind you, all of this being said, there's some brilliant teachers. Don't get me wrong. There are some brilliant private teachers in the world. And we need them. They're out there and we need them. But you still go to these places and you pay $50 a week, $200 a month, and you have to pay it in advance. And if you don't get there for the lesson because of weather or act of God, or the dog is sick, you stepped on a Lego, I don't know. You don't get there, you don't get your money back. That in itself is completely prohibitive to go and to do that. And so that's problem number one. It's a huge cost. $2,400 a year is ridiculous to embark on something where you don't know what you're buying. You really don't know what you're buying. So then problem number two was confusion. And by God, I've been teaching all my life, and I know the reason I teach the way that I do is because of hearing about that confusion all my life. Now, here's the thing to remember. Music theory, okay, is incredibly useful if you're going to do something with your music that requires you to know how to sight read music. The chances of that for most people are so slim that it doesn't make any sense to learn to read music. So, and that's the problem with that situation is this. Music theory and playing the guitar are two different things. They have nothing to do with each other. You might think they do, but they don't. Music theory is a mathematical proposition. Playing a guitar is an emotional proposition and a physical one. Muscle memory, emotion. It has nothing to do with being able to read a sheet of paper. So people go to private lessons and I'll get to online services in a second, but let's say private lessons. They go in, they get a bunch of information that they don't understand and a bunch of things that they have to mimic. They have to. They're not really playing. They're just mimicking what's either on a sheet of paper that's written in music theory or tablature, and they're not being told why they're doing what they're doing and how it applies to very simple concepts that they can understand, melodies that they already know, how easy it is to actually teach somebody perfect pitch. Like none of these things are being are in these systems for the most part. So you're paying $200 a month, and you're getting a whole bunch of stuff written down and a whole bunch of stuff thrown at you, and you end up becoming so frustrated that you quit. You can't make any progress because the system that you have to learn gets in the way of you actually playing. So that's the problem with the general problem with any kind of lesson. Now the online lesson services are even I'm amazed that they do what they do. And that being said, again, they work for some people. They do. They actually work. But for the most part, you have these online systems that are either an app that you put on your phone, which means you're learning to operate a video game while you're playing the guitar, which is ridiculous. It's too much to learn, and psychologically it just doesn't work. Or you're into an online service where you're just drawing from a database, and you have nondescript musicians on there teaching you to play the lick from Sweet Home Alabama. Well, that doesn't do you any good either, because what does that tell you about the instrument? It doesn't tell you anything. You can mimic what they're showing you, but you don't understand why it's happening. That's the secret. The secret to playing the guitar is not plowing a bunch of knowledge at somebody and going, here, do this. And then once you do this, you're a guitar player. That's not how it works. How it really works is you tell someone why it works, not how it works. You tell someone, this is why this thing that you're playing right here is so important, because it applies to all this other 100 things. And the rules are the same here as they are over there in the other 100 things. And you set people up to teach themselves. That's the key. A good teacher should leave a student able to learn the next piece of music without him. Or her. That's the key. That's the secret. And that's what I attempted to do with mastermusicmethod.com. And I did. It's a system where I talk to you just like I'm talking to you right now. And you couldn't get any closer to actually sitting in a room with me taking a private lesson. Except I didn't go the route that a lot of online systems do. I don't have online purchases or in-app purchases. You pay the $30 US a month, and you get access to the entire site 24/7. And that's what should be done. That's what people should be, if they're going to pay money. If you're going to pay me, for example, if you're going to pay $360 a year, which is not a lot of money considering that private lessons normally are $200 a month. If you're going to pay that money, you should have access to the information you're buying all the time. And so, while all these other things do work, and there's incredibly talented teachers out there, and there's systems online that do work for people, I think I offer something that is important. It's part of my own personal life's work, is to just pass on what I know. When I was learning to play, I didn't get much help. I had an older brother that taught me the first few chords, and I didn't. People say, well, you have to have talent. No, you don't have to have talent. Talent is sometimes an impediment. You have to have drive, and you have to have, and this is the biggest secret of all, you have to have the right circumstances and the right environment in order to have the musical and technical epiphanies you need to play. And that is how I teach. Every single player that you watch on television or on videos or buy their records, and you go, my God, that guy's a great guitar player, a banjo player, a mandolin player. All of these people were incredibly lucky. That's what it come down to. I was lucky. I just happened to pick up the guitar when I was 5, and I just happened to discover a Chet Atkins record in my collection, and I just happened to have a turntable in the house, and I just happened to have a cassette player back in those days that you could slow down. On and on and on it goes. These little things that allowed me to learn, because I had once I learned one thing, I wanted to learn the next thing, and that's the same for every single person who plays. And that's how I teach, and that's how you should be taught. You should be taught, you should be given all the keys that the teacher had learning to play, when he learned to play. Not given the end result of those keys. You need the actual keys so you can make the same moves and steps along the pathway to playing that the teacher has. And that's what no one does. Well, maybe they do. I don't know. They probably do. I mean, I should retract that. There are people who teach that way, but they're so few and far between that, I mean, I don't think I've ever really met anyone personally who does it. There must be someone who does it, but probably hundreds, thousands of them. But they seem to be incredibly hard to find, as I've looked. And that's why the site gets started. I thought, no one's doing it this way. I should do it this way. And that's what Master Music Method is. And so I'm reaching out now. This year we want to grow this site into a community. We have new ways of connecting with subscribers. We have, there's going to be, as soon as we start to see this blow up again with us, new content is going to be put on. There's enough content on the site now to keep you busy for a year. And don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid. If you're a ranked beginner, go in. Check it out. You have a 3-day free trial. Go in. mastermusicmethod.com. Look at what we're doing and how it's done. And if you don't like it, you just cancel it. And that's that. But I really think, and I know from the people that have been on the site, and the people who stayed on the site for 3 years, even though the content slowed down so badly, they enjoy it. I've had people tell me that they've taken lessons for 25 years and learned more off of 3 lectures on the site than they did in 25 years. And that harkens back to the issues that I'm talking about. People, the secret is what I've described. They need to be taught, they need to be given the circumstances and environment that the teacher had when he learned. And they need to be given all of it at once. Instead of the lifetime it took me to learn what I do, if I had taken out all the chunks of time in between those epiphanies, I would have been at the level I am now when I was 20. Instead of now I'm 50 and I have all this knowledge, but it came so slowly that, and if you look around, the young kids today that are excelling as players, they're finding those nuggets online and from other players, and because they know where to look. Most people don't know where to look. So I'm putting all of it in one place on the site. So I hope that this helps you. I hope that this is 15 minutes of your time, and I hope that you learn something. And I hope you learn to play the guitar or the mandolin or the fiddle or the banjo. We teach all of them on the site. If you don't use my site, I hope you learn anyway. Music is the most important thing, I think, in the world, because it's a universal language. It transcends borders, it transcends politics, it transcends everything. It puts us all on even ground. And if you learn to play an instrument, even enough to just satisfy yourself and make yourself happy, there's nothing better than that. It's the best thing ever. And it's saved my own life. My entire existence has been changed by the fact that I decided to pick up a guitar when I was 5 years old. My life would not be what it was if I hadn't picked up that piece of wood and steel and decided that I was going to play it no matter what. So I hope I see you on there. And if I don't, I still hope you go for it somewhere. But if you want to check out what we're doing, try mastermusicmethod.com. And I appreciate your comments, your suggestions. It's a subscriber-based site, so I'm listening to everybody. Come on and be with us, and I hope this helped you. And no matter what, play on, no matter what.